Hi, my name is Coach Maddie, and I've got some awesome weight loss tips and tricks for you. And today I would like to talk about how do you know if you're working hard enough in the gym or during a workout? How do you know you're in that sweet spot where you're going to see results but not pushing yourself too much where there's diminishing returns, or you're not working hard enough and there's no point, right? So where's that middle spot? And that's what I want to share with you today. So for me and the women that I coach, there are three main measurements that I like to give you an idea of, are you giving enough effort? Are you doing the right thing at the right intensity for your goal? So these three things, what I'm going to explain today, are if your goal is, I want to lose weight, I want to generally be healthier, but most importantly, you're interested in just finally having a consistent healthy lifestyle instead of, gym 7 days a week and then we fall off for 3 weeks, right? So these are kind of more measurements if your goal is consistency with a lifestyle change, okay? So rule number one in terms of monitoring your workout intensity if it is on the right track. So that would be, it's called your RPE scale. RPE, and it stands for rate of perceived exertion. Basically meaning it's your own scale of how hard you're working. You rate it. So scale of, 0 to 10, 10 being I couldn't possibly do any more, and 0 being I'm sitting on the couch watching Bachelorette. That's your scale to start with. Now, if your goal is consistency, then I don't really care what number you are on that scale. Okay, I can tell you don't really need to be an 8, 9, or a 10. Okay, obviously if you every now and then want to push yourself to see what your 8, 9, and 10 capabilities are, go ahead by all means. But in order to lose weight, be healthy, and be consistent, if we stay in that high intensity zone too long in a row, we lose steam, right? We lose steam not just in the actual one-time workout, but over the longevity of our workouts, right? We can't be a 9 out of 10 every day of the week. We're going to get run down. So I wouldn't say you have to stay in that 9, 10, or even 8 area. But in terms of the other numbers, it's really irrelevant with what you're doing on that scale as long as it's consistent. If you can show up to the gym every day and be a 4 out of 10 in what you're giving in your energy, that is a great start. Ideally, you would like to stay at about a 5 to 7. That is enough where you are pushing yourself. So it's not like you are, just showing up and going through the motions. You're actually putting in a little bit of effort, but it's not so much where you're dreading it, where you're hating it, where you might injure yourself, where it's just too much and you're not getting many extra returns on it. So your goal is from a scale of 0 to 10 on how hard am I working. Your personal number should aim to be a 5 to 7, right? So think of the most tough workout you've ever done in your life. That's your 10 for measurement. And then sitting on TV or sitting on the couch watching your favorite TV show, that's the lowest thing, right? So then a 1 would be sauntering on the treadmill, right? Okay, let's speed walk. Kind of stuff like that. Little adjustments that'll get you to 5, 6, or even that 7 range is a good range. You don't need to go higher. And lower is usually if you have a lot of limitations, joint issues, medical conditions, if you are on the quite heavier side, so it's actually hard to move your body or your knees start to ache if you walk too long, or if you really aren't looking for weight loss and you just like activity for peace of mind and mental clarity. That's when you can kind of stay at the 5 or below. But if your goal is weight loss and consistency with workouts, 5 to 7 is your RPE scale that you want to go for. So next time you do a workout, or you can even think back to the last workout you did, rate it at a scale of 1 to 10, and that is your starting point for your measuring tool. And then you can kind of go up and down and play around with that, okay? So that is the first way that you can generally measure it and put it into this kind of broad brush of your intensity. Now, the second way that I like to tell ladies to measure their intensity in a workout to see if they're giving the right amount of effort is what is their body temperature, right? Or has your body temperature elevated a little bit? Now, I'm not saying you have to be red. I don't want you to be like super red. Of course you can. The more you push yourself, the more you're going to get red because we're running out of oxygen. And you don't need to necessarily be sweating as well, right? The more you sweat is not equivalent to the more calories you burn. That is a myth. That's just not how that works. So you don't need to be drenched in sweat and you don't need to be as red as Santa's suit. Okay. You just have to have some type of increased body temperature because all that means is you've asked your body to do a little bit more work than it's used to. So the heart is pumping faster, and when it's pumping faster, your temperature raises. That is all that means, okay? You don't have to be dead on the floor. You don't have to look like you just got out of the shower, and you don't have to feel like you just got out of the sauna. Is your temperature raised slightly, right? And maybe that does mean you're a little bit more flushed. Maybe you got rosy cheeks. Maybe you do go red, right? When I work out, I go red very quickly. That's just me. Maybe it's just because I'm super light skinned as well. But either way, you want your heart rate to increase. Not by much, okay? Just enough so that you can feel, oh, my temperature has increased, okay? So that is really, really simple and easy to do. If you don't look like you worked out, chances are it wasn't enough, okay? That would have been something just for general blood flow is what you just did, right? It wasn't really many benefits other than that, okay? So you do need to look like you worked out, whether you're a little bit more flush in the face, whether your hair is a little bit messier, whether you did, get a little bit of a dew of sweat, something like that, if we put your before and after your workout picture together, you would be able to slightly tell that, hey, this person looked like they put in some effort, okay? Now, the third thing, and this is pretty much the easiest way to do this, especially if you've got a workout buddy or something like that, is you should be able to hold a conversation with somebody, but still be a little bit out of breath, right? So, where if you are on that RPE scale, if you're at 8, 9, or 10, you cannot talk. You can't hold a conversation. You might be able to get a couple words out, but you cannot hold a conversation with somebody. Where if you're like a 5 or below, you can have a full-on conversation. You're not needing to take extra pauses. You're not breathing heavily. You can't hear it in your voice. When you are working out, you should be able to have a conversation. Maybe not as many words, like we're not going to write an essay or give a speech, but you should be able to create, normal sentences. But you should hear it in your voice. You should hear the deeper breaths. You should hear some pauses. You should hear the big inhales because that signifies that your body is asking for more oxygen, which means you've placed an increased demand on your body. And whenever there's an increased demand of anything, your body's first reaction is to adapt. And the only way we grow and we progress is by adapting first. So you've got to put the stress on the body, the good stress, to signify, yes, we want to grow, we want to adapt right now. And then that kind of becomes your new baseline and your new normal. And then you build off of that. And you'll notice if you are able to be consistent with your workouts for most likely, you want to say 4 weeks. If you can do 3 workouts a week for 4 weeks straight, you're going to notice significant endurance, stamina, strength, flexibility, mobility, all those improvements after just 12 workouts. That's 4 weeks, 3 times a week. Super simple. And those workouts don't even have to be long, right? They can be whatever you have available. If you only have 5 minutes, do 5 minutes. Something is better than nothing. If you've got an hour, do an hour. But normally, for the ladies that I coach, I don't go usually above 30 minutes. Normally, we stay about like 20 to 30 minutes for workouts. Sometimes even 10 to 15 minutes if they're really busy or it's a rough week. And it's just about being consistent so we have something to measure against. Because feeling like you're progressing and knowing you are progressing are two very different things. And one of the biggest things that I see throw women off of their journeys and throw in the towel too soon is thinking they're not seeing progress. Feeling like they're not seeing progress. When really, if we looked at the data, if you've been recording things, if you've been consistent long enough to have something to compare another thing to, then we can, for certain say, yes, there's progress here, but not here. Let's focus here. There's progress here, but not here. Let's switch there for a week, right? It's when we haven't been keeping track of things and our feelings get in the way because we had a stressful day or we got into an argument with our spouse or we are frustrated with the way that we look or we did do a little bit of a slip up and we want to say screw it to everything. In those emotional moments, you need these facts. You need these measuring tools. You need as many measuring tools as possible to give you the boost and to give your logical brain the thought of, no, you actually are on the right track. Breathe, keep going. Don't throw it all away. You do not want to do something that you're going to regret when you get back into a good mood. When you're in that bad down state, you don't want to do something you regret when you finally feel better, because you're going to feel better it could be 5 minutes, it could be tomorrow. Either way, it can be very quick. So those are the 3 measurements to determine if you are pushing yourself enough to adapt and progress in the gym. That's your baseline to start. And if you can be consistent with those 3 things And even no matter where you are on that scale, just show up and try to emulate the same measurement every time. That is a great start, and that'll put you ahead of anybody who goes balls to the wall for 1 week and then falls off. That's not the game we're trying to win here. It is a marathon, not a sprint. Although we can sprint occasionally throughout it, in the grand scheme of things, it's a marathon, so you want to start looking at it like that, okay? So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it gave you some clarity on how you can be a little bit more consistent with your lifestyle changes when it comes to exercise. If this was helpful, please comment down below, like the video, subscribe to my channel, and turn on that bell notification button so you don't miss any more tips and tricks. And if you would really like to dive deeper into specific techniques to lose weight and the Fit Queen way of weight loss, you can head over to fitqueen.com. We got lots of awesome free resources for you there. And I will see you on the next video. Bye.